Hey guys, and welcome to Dean's Classic Car Stereo Installs, or something like that. Basically what it is I've been filming my install videos, well, ever since like the iPhone 3 came out, and I got a couple videos that I put together over the years. They found their way onto YouTube at some point, and then rebranded them depending on where I was at. Some of them started back at AVE, which you can go back and check out. That was the first place I worked. Episode 1 and 2 were cars from there. This is episode 3. These cars are real sentimental. So these are gonna be the first 2 cars that I worked on when I got here. And this was like within the first 2 weeks of being here was this first car, which is a BMW 5 Series.
Wow. So okay. So keep in mind, you did more cars, right?
Oh yeah,
you did
lots
Lamborghinis
of cars.
and Ferraris and
lots
all that
of cars,
stuff.
Lots of pictures.
Do you have videos on those?
No.
No. Do you just have pictures?
Just have pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like pictures. Most of the people want to say, oh, that's the way you did only.
No, gosh, no.
Yeah.
I got
because I saw the pictures that you have.
When I started out, we used the 35mm camera to take pictures. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those anymore. Because when I left, that was one of the things I didn't take with me.
Okay.
Because by then we were switched to digital, and I honestly didn't think I would want them. Right. So, and I guess I was wrong. But anyways, this is a BMW 5 Series. Let's take a watch. What did you think of that one?
I like it. I used to own a BMW, so you know I'm a fan of the BMW, so I like that one. I like the logo.
About 2 weeks after I started here, this guy shows up.
Okay.
And he was like, hey man, let's build out my car.
Okay.
And I didn't even have a finished install bay yet.
Okay.
I mean, there was nothing. I think I had my table saw was still on legs. I think the panel saw had just gotten set up. We had no router stations. We had nothing. We literally, I didn't even have, I think I had like one workbench.
Wow.
You know, and we had wood, and that was it. I was thinking that I'd have a couple months to get everything moved in place and get rocking and rolling, because there again, I'd literally come from AVE to 5-star, and I was building my install bay. And there was no time between, so like I stopped at AVE on Saturday, and I started here on Monday, and that was it. So, I mean, the first car we worked on when the place opened was like a Dodge van, and Paul had this giant system. The van ended up staying the night, and at the time, we could barely fit the car over the ramp because the ramp was like 2 feet shorter.
Wow.
So it was like coming up at like a straight angle in. It was hilarious. Most of the cars ended up working outside.
Wow.
Because I couldn't pull them in. This guy here, he shows up.
Okay.
And he's a big Alpine fan, hence the Alpine logo. Paul had never done this at the shop, so him opening the install bay, he'd been open for 2 or 3 years.
Before you came in here, he never do installs?
No, he was hiring them out. He hired all the installs out, and that wasn't working out for him. So he wanted to bring them in-house, and so he got the place that we're in now, which is 3 stores down.
Right.
You know, the whole custom install for him was kind of new. Luckily at the time, because we weren't that busy yet, because most people didn't know we did installs, I had the time to work on this. So this car we knocked out in about 3 days.
Okay.
Alpine, like V-Power, 4-channel, monoblock. I don't remember what subs in there. I think there might have been a picture. The funny part was the material. We had nothing here. There was literally nothing here. I had to order everything. I think I had some scrap that I brought with me from AVE that I had accumulated, but this was like suede and white vinyl, and then some carbon fiber vinyl, and of course black vinyl, and then plexiglass. I got plexiglass from Steve next door. I just went next door and saw if they had any plexi. At the time, you know, they were a sign shop, but I didn't know to use them. So there again, I hand drew the Alpine logo and sandblasted it because I had a sandblaster. So sandblasted the logo into it, and then Steve was like, "Dude, I could have just printed you a sticker." And I was like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
You know? Now, this used all Memphis wiring because that's all Paul had. That was like, he thought that was the coolest wiring in the world.
Okay.
I got Memphis wiring, so it's all this, and it's
High-end stuff.
Yeah, that was high end to him. Oh, it's 100% copper. And I was like, yeah, that's Stinger. Why aren't we using Stinger? And at the time, he wasn't doing anything with Stinger. Now, the BMW logo that keeps showing up there, that's a multi-layered pie. I wanted that logo, and of course, I had no way to make it out of plexi, and I could make pretty much anything I wanted out of wood.
Yeah.
I took the circle from the woofer, glued it to a piece of wood, took it to the table saw, and cut circle on the table saw into the 4 pieces. And then in the middle there, the 1/8 inch is just like ABS, or at the time would have been scrap Sentra that I had.
Okay.
Hand cut the BMW. It's like 4 layers. So you have the suede layer, you have the white vinyl layer, then you have the black vinyl layer, and then that's built on an 1/8 inch layer. Then those are 5/8. And there are 2 different color carbon fiber actual vinyl. It's not sticker, it's actual cloth vinyl. And so that had a lot of depth to it. So look, that was the focal point. I think you saw that. Did you see that? Yeah.
I saw it.
So it had a lot of depth to it, looked really cool.
And I saw it because I used to come, like you guys know, I used to come over here to ask Dean, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that?
Because I remember you going, you had the 3 Series at the time. And you're like,
dude, can you make me one? Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
And I looked at you and I was like, no.
Yeah. I was like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
I want it like that.
Yeah. So they were Rockford Fosgate woofers, apparently, because there's the big Rockford Fosgate logo, which I brought with me from AVE. And that shape for the trunk, there again, this was all cut out with a jigsaw. You know, I'd draw the shape on there, and then I would very carefully go at it and cut it, like, in segments with a jigsaw so that I could make up, like, an 1/8 inch cut. Because I knew I was going to have to wrap it in 2 pieces of vinyl. Cut it, and then go back and I'd cut it again, so that it would all line up and be perfectly, because I mean I would sit there with the jigsaw as still as possible because I didn't have, you know, a router to do that with. I became very masterful with the jigsaw. Yeah. The circles were always cut out with the circle template.
Right.
But that stuff wasn't, and their capacitors, you know, that was Paul like, what else can we sell them? And I was like, sell them some capacitors.
Right.
And so we threw some capacitors in, because those were always nice. Anytime you did a battery, if it was going to go on one side, capacitors looked nice on the other side. Totally not functional at that point, but they would look cool. And then we had LED lighting in there, the bars, and they would blink to the music. So that was kind of fun. One of the tricks that we would use on installs like this, because we need to save time, we would sell them the preloaded box.
Right.
So that's the Rockford preloaded box. So it has like 2 10s or 2 12s in it. So that would save us time because we already have the ported box. So that would go into place, and then I could just build the facades off of that. Paul wasn't used to building stuff. He thought I could build this in a day.
Really?
Honestly, he thought that I could build this all in a day. So I was like, we need to figure out a way to speed this up because he's not giving me any time to build this. And of course, we put a radio in that.
Yeah, I saw it.
This kit had just come out. Never had done one. Didn't know that you had to remove the whole dash, basically, the whole bottom portion of the dash to get that in. So we did a backup camera. There again, it was like, build the custom flush, put the radio in the dash. Could you get it done in a day? He honestly thought this would be done in a day.
Always you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So it's like, hurry. So we did this car, and we learned a lot from this car. Paul learned that these things take time. We might want to rethink our strategy as far as these type of installs go. Because this is only like week 2.
Okay.
That takes us to the next car, which is a QX45.
Okay, yep.
Or 56.
Yeah, that's what we have.
I think it's QX56. It's the big one. The big Armada. What'd you think of this one?
It's like, 4 kickers, 12s. Yeah. Different.
Okay, so a lot of things were different on this install that I had never really done before. We never, at AVE, we never got into loudspeakers. We never sold loudspeakers. We didn't do loudspeakers. At the very end, I did a set of loudspeakers. When I did that Solo X18 in that Jeep Wrangler, we did loudspeakers because we had them in the display case, but we literally had 2 pairs of 6.5s, some open back and some closed back, and I put both of them in the car because I said, these are loud, right? Jay's like, yeah, and I was like, all right, well, let's put these in and see what they do. And I was like, oh my God, these sound so bad. Let's never do this again. Everyone else loved them, but not me. So Paul came to me and he's like, hey, listen, I got this guy that wants to spend a sick amount of money on an install. Paul just was like, what can we put in this? And I was like, I don't know. What do you want to put in it? I measured it and I said, we could put 4 L7 12s in this. And the guy's like, yeah, because he wanted like 15s. And there was no way 15s were going to fit. And I was like, we could do 4 L7 12s in this box. We could line them all across. We could make some fiberglass pods for the loudspeakers on the back. We could put loudspeakers in the doors. We couldn't change out the radio. So this had a variable voltage head unit because it's a Nissan and those have variable voltage. So we went out of that variable voltage into a Clarion EQ. Okay. Which I absolutely did not want to do, but we had nothing else. Okay. Here's this big system relying on this $79 EQ. And I was so worried that it was going to have noise. Okay. Yeah. Now, as far as my edit style goes back then, these were still 1-minute videos, and I was making the music videos. Yeah. Now, we put 4 headrests in here. Those are the T-View. T-View. So these are the T-View head units. This guy was straight pimp. Okay. This guy was like, man, I want full screens. I want my screen in the dash to play. I want this bamming. Nav TV to get the screen in the dash to work. And then it was all American bass. So we had American bass, speakers all the way around. And I'd never done that. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it was going to sound. I was kind of shocked, to be honest with you, because of how loud it was. And I was like, I don't like this.
So that was 4 6.5s with the tweeters.
In the back.
In the back, plus
6.5s in the doors. The same 6.5s in the doors. And then we put another set of tweeters. We put some of the Neo tweeters up in the dash. Wow. So I managed to get those in there. I don't even remember what we powered this thing with. To be honest with you, I have no idea. So this was probably a month or 2 after the last guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so this was right after the last guy. This thing showed up. Now, this thing no longer exists. This actually was gone 6 months after we did it. The car was gone. Wow. Well, Tampa has that impound, or has that seizure law, that if you get caught with drugs in the car, they could seize your car.
So guess everything is with there.
They seized this car. Box is suede, speaker pods are vinyl. Built this box. On the other side of the box is the amp rack, because where else are you going to put the amplifiers? Correct. I don't remember how long I had on that one. It wasn't long. It was like, you need to get this done. And there was so much wiring that had to be done, because it was build the stereo, put in all the speakers, and then the video side of things. 4 headrests, and the screen in the dash with Nav TV.
Match it with the factory. Yeah.
Now, the nice thing about it is there was no tuning. It was set the crossover, set the gains, see ya, bye. Because he had that EQ in there, so he could just crank it up and do whatever he wanted. But it was loud, and it was funny too. He had his towel boy with him. The guy would just walk around and rub the wheels, shine the wheels. Yeah. And literally, this guy was the towel boy. The towel boy was the guy that came by and said, hey man, y'all remember me? And we're like, yeah. He goes, yo man, that guy's in prison, man. That car is gone. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, they impounded that, man. He's driving through Tampa dirty. But on the upside, we never had to worry about any blown speakers. Because it was gone.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Yeah. And I did learn something from that car.
What happened?
I hate loudspeakers.
That's the only thing I know.
Yeah.
Like before I came here to work with you, that was
just loudspeakers.
Just loudspeakers.
Until you got blessed with the high energies.
With high energy. That was my first set of speakers that I actually heard, and I'm like, oh. And the angels are singing. Where are they? Yeah, that was crazy. So
that install was just torture. But we'll see as the story goes on. Yeah. This was episode 3. There's a couple more after this. So stay tuned for a couple more of these. We hope by now you guys are enjoying these, and we hope you've liked them. Let us know in the comments. Of course, we enjoy reading them so much. And that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching as always.
See you guys later.
See you guys later. Bye.